folks, I want to tell you about the scariest thing you could ever do in life. This is a horror movie, okay? What you do is you go on your phone and then you touch the Hungry Bowl app on your phone. Then you click this button down here, which takes you to your watch list for your stocks and cryptos. And then you open that and you go, I lost all my money. It's so dang scary. Yes, guys, it is an absolute bloodbath out there here today. I want to share with you in this video exactly what's going on. We're going to go through the devastation first, okay? Then we're going to talk about how long is this going to last for. We're going to talk about, I'm seeing a lot of what happened in December 2018 going on right now in the market, how this is going to shape up as we go into January. You know, I'm always trying to look forward to the future. We're going to talk about, you know, like a lot of folks are wondering, like, okay, do you go all in the market now, like on a day like today? Do you invest over the course of the month? Do you wait till the very end of the month? We know tax loss harvesting. We know it's getting uglier out there. We know margin calls. We know all this bad stuff's going on. How long does this last for? And so I'm going to try to give my best perspective in this video. As always, hope you guys enjoy this. It is, we've got drama in the market, okay? Anybody that was complaining earlier about we hadn't had drama in the market, it's full drama mode in the market now, okay? Let's be quite honest. This is drama mode, and it's probably going to continue to be drama mode for at least this month, okay? Now, last night before I went to bed, I posted this in the Discord chat. I said, hey, don't play games with our emotions, because it was funny because all the futures were up big, okay? And even before I fell asleep around 2 a.m., you know, I think the Russell at that time was up over 2%, like 2.2% or something like that. And I was like, you know, it felt like a setup, man. It felt like a setup in the end. And sure enough, it was just a setup, okay? The markets they opened and everything was looking good, and it just tanked through the floor. This is why I like to go to bed so late, man. I go to bed at like 2 a.m., listen to conference calls and all that fun stuff, maybe do a little meditation. And because I get to miss all this drama that happens, you know, because that's all it is. It's like, you know, everybody gets real excited. Oh, it's green, and then it's red. So by the time I woke up, the market was already red. So I never got to see all this green action. I guess everybody else got excited for early in the morning, but it just felt like a setup the whole way through. And sure enough, Russell just gets absolutely smacked again today. Okay, it's just been nasty after nasty. And meanwhile, you got the hideout stocks. Apple up. Microsoft up, Google McDougal up, okay? That's where the money seems to just be hiding, those three stocks. And it's kind of like, you know, if any money's going anywhere in the stock market right now, it's really to those three stocks. I mean, that's where the money's hiding out. Anything else is just getting sold. The small caps have just been devastated. And so we got a lot to get into this video, okay? I want to start it out a little more tame for you guys, a little more calm, okay? Because we're going to get so much worse than this, okay? 3.6% move. Just wait till you see some of these moves we're going to get into in this video. Woo-wee! Okay? But the Chef made a 3.6% move down for my favorite cult stock, the Chef. You know, they did announce a new chief operating officer last night, which it doesn't matter. No one cares about fundamentals right now. You know, it's funny. It's like the same thing, but reverse, okay? Last year, nobody cared about fundamentals. No one cared about valuation, right? It was like, but it was just push everything to the sky. Nothing mattered, and you couldn't speak to anybody in December, January, you know, December 2020, January 2021. You couldn't speak to anybody about valuation, like, hey man, that stock might be getting a little rich, right? That was just a different time period in the market. No one cared about that. Now on the flip side, also, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter how low a stock goes now. People are like, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to buy it. It's like, okay, this valuation's getting insanely low. You know, it's not interesting. It's just like, you can't talk to folks when you're in these sorts of markets that are insanely irrational. And right now we're getting into a market that's insanely irrational, and it's pushing small cap 600. If this continues on for like literally just a couple more days, small cap 600s are going to be trading the cheapest they've traded in a decade. Okay? That's how insane this market is getting now. This is the sorts of just, you go through a euphoria period like we went through in December into January, February of this year, straight into now, all of a sudden we're going into let's call it a decimation of stocks now. That's just like, really, we're going to push all these stocks down in this price? Okay. By the way, I'm going to show you guys buy orders I placed today, which there was a whole lot of them. Corsair Gaming down 4.73%. Like I said, we're going to get to so much worse in this video, folks. So much worse. Corsair Gaming, it doesn't matter. I mean, this stock's almost at a price to sales ratio of 1 now. Literally 1. It might go under a price to sales ratio of 1 here very shortly. It doesn't matter. No one cares about the fundamentals of Corsair. It doesn't matter. It's just sell, 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 tax loss harvest, margin calls, no options getting exercised in a positive manner, and just sell, sell, sell. And that's what the story is when it comes to Corsair Gaming and so many of these other stocks. You can't talk to anybody about PE ratios right now or price to sales ratios or how low the market cap's getting or any of that. It doesn't matter. A lot of folks are just looking at it and they're like, sell, 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 sell. Okay. Very similar to last year, except it was buy, 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 buy. And it's just, these markets just get silly. That's the best way to describe it. Just silly. Okay. Coinbase, look at this one down 6.5%. We got so much more worse to get into in this video than this one, okay? Coinbase down 6.5%. Bitcoin didn't even have a bad day today. That's what's interesting about Coinbase. That massive move down in Bitcoin wasn't even down big today. The Hood, Robinhood down 7.75%. Now we'll start to get into the juicy ones, okay? So Robinhood, I mean, this one obviously just continues to get devastated. The bad news, the really bad news for Robinhood is they're coming off of a year, right? Last year, well, really, late 2020 into very early 2021, where mass amounts of new retail investors got in the market. A lot of them for the wrong reasons, to be quite frank, right? Thinking it's easy money. The stock market's not easy money. There's a whole lot of money to be made in the stock market. It's not easy money, okay? That's all I can say about that. It's not easy money. It's just a whole lot of money to be made. But you have to go through a lot of crap to get to that big money, right? I mean, even my best stock I've ever held in my life, which is Tesla, I had to go through a year of crap to finally start getting gains on that one. And I had to wait basically 2 years after I started investing in it to start getting massive gains where it got gargantuan, right? I started investing in the stock in, 2018? And I had to go through a whole year of just crap. Just garbage, just, short seller attacks and just they're going to zero and all that stuff to finally get to something good, right? It takes a while. And so when it comes to Hood, a lot of folks got in the markets for the wrong reasons. A lot of those folks are being driven out. A lot of those folks are not going to come back to the market because they're going to feel like it's a scam. I mean, imagine you bought TDOC stock at 300 and today it's trading at 93, which is probably going to be a stock we talk about in this video, right? Oh, you're like, oh, this was supposed to be some great growth company. This is a scam, right? You bought Corsair at 40, it's at 21 today. You're like, oh, stock market's a scam. I'm done with this thing. This is a bunch of crap. You bought AMC at some crazy price, and now you're like, hey, I thought it was going to $100, and now it's at 20 or whatever. The stock market's a scam. A lot of those folks will never return to the market, and that's bad news for the Hood, right? A lot of those folks will return again when there's some epic bull cycle again, like who knows, in 20 years from now or something like that. But for now, the only folks that are left in the market are really the people that are really in this for the long term. Everybody else now that was just let's just call them tourist in the market. Those folks have already sold or are just going to finish up selling over the course of the next few weeks, essentially. Those folks are just looking at this and like, yeah, I don't think I want any of the market. And it's just more bad news for Robinhood as if they didn't already have enough, okay? You look at a stock like Roblox. This one had been a hot stock. Now it's coming down a lot, right? 10% move down here today for that one. Unity Software, ticker symbol U, down over 12% today. What a move down for that one. These sorts of stocks that are growth engines that maybe are even, some folks might look at and say these are money losers for years to go in the future as far as like on the bottom line. Those aren't the stocks that anybody wants a piece of. I mean, let's be honest, almost anything outside of Apple, Microsoft, and Google, people don't want a piece of. Never mind if you have a growth story that is a growth story which you don't know when exactly you get to profitability. Those sorts of stocks just get destroyed. Look at TDOC today. Perfect example. I mean, TDOC has such a beautiful future, probably in my opinion, right? Based upon what I've seen in the stock. It's an exciting company for the long term, but it doesn't matter right now. No one cares about that right now. TDOC's down 7.75% today. It broke the $100 mark, right? That it had been flirting with for a while, and it finally dropped under that. And look at that. I mean, it's just as bad as it could possibly get for TDOC. As far as Cathie Wood goes, it's bad at the ARK fund, and the outflows are probably going to continue to be vicious for the next several weeks, if not the next month or two, and that is not a good thing for anything that basically Cathie Wood holds. Coinbase, look what happened to Coinbase today. Look at TDOC today. Look at Roku, Zoom, Unity Software. All these stocks pretty much Cathie Wood holds are just getting destroyed square. Like these stocks are just getting devastated right now, right? Palantir's up to the 14th biggest position. I think we're going to get into Palantir in just a moment. And so this is one of those things where, if more and more money keeps outflowing out of the fund, Cathie Wood has to end up selling positions, right? If she sells positions, it leads a lot more folks to say, oh my gosh, this is getting bad. I got to pull my money out as well, right? And so you get this crazy just kind of outflow situation where these stocks just drop and drop and drop and drop. And they start trading at valuations like, you can't even believe some of these valuations. Like, it's like, really, this stock is trading at this price? Like, I never dreamed I could get this stock at this price, and it's really down here now. And it happens that quickly, okay? And we'll talk about the reverse that's going to happen, in my opinion, when it comes to this as well. But yeah, TDOC just, just devastating stock, down 7.75%. What about its cousins, okay? TDOC has a few cousins, I call them, okay? First cousin of TDOC is Lemonade stock. That's a distant cousin from TDOC, and that one's down $45. Huge bright future for Lemonade, in my opinion. If you're a long-term investor, it's one of the more exciting stocks, I think, out there. In the insurance space, a huge disruptor, something that I think Cathie Wood would love, and I wouldn't be surprised if she ends up buying a lot of this stock, if she can buy stocks, if she gets inflows of money instead of outflows, right? But you look at Lemonade, no one wants a piece of Lemonade right now. It's down to 8.76% here today. People are looking at this stock and they're like seeing all these stocks drop left and right. There's all the talk about the Omicron, whatever, which, by the way, if you look at the actual results, the doctors are saying all the conditions pretty much have been mild for that so far. So, obviously we don't want to jump to too many conclusions, but all the doctors that have been treating folks that have that have all said very, very mild symptoms, which is great news, okay? Let's just hope it stays that way. But at the end of the day, you look at something like a Lemonade, like in this sort of market where there's a lot of worries, and a lot of folks are looking at that and they're like, do I want a company that's going to probably lose money for, I don't know, years and years and years? Lemonade probably is going to make a profit someday, but shoot, it might be 4 years from now, maybe 5 years from now, right? And so folks are looking at that and they're like, why do I need to buy Lemonade at 45? It might go to 25, and they're like, for a company that's going to likely be a money loser for a long time. Now, the thing to keep in mind with money losers real quick here, I just want to, teach this point, is when it comes to money losing companies, what happens with the good ones that can turn for the better, right? They kind of reach a bottom. That's when their stock price kind of bottoms. And as the cash flows get better and as the net income gets better, the net loss, I should say, right? Because you don't jump straight to net income. You're still losing money. But as the net loss gets less and less, those stocks usually start jumping and jumping and jumping as it gets closer and closer to profitability. And then they make this massive leap when they actually reach profitability. And you can see this, I think there's a couple of stocks that are perfect examples of this. One is Square stock. If you look at Square stock's history, that was a massive money loser. Peak losses were around 2015, 2016. Guess where that stock price was in 2016? It was under $10 a share, right? As they started losing less and less money over future years, the stock started to go up and up and up. Next thing you know, it was a $50 stock, $60 stock, and then they made their big leap to profitability the last few years, and now that stock's like $200. And hey, I don't know, in this type of market, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes under 200 soon. But that's what happens with these sorts of companies. That'll probably happen with something like a Lemonade. Problem is, their peak loss year is probably either going to be next year or the year after. And so basically what that means is Lemonade's probably going lower, don't matter what kind of market we go into. That's a little bit thing that's a little bit scary for a stock like Lemonade, but man, does it have a huge bright future. And this could end up being a stock I end up buying because I love disruptive companies, and that's absolutely one. Its other cousin, Palantir, TDOC and Lemonade and Palantir are all cousins. And Palantir down under $20 a share here today, down over 6% on this one. Like I said, those three stocks are cousins. They all have incredibly bright futures for the next 10 years in terms of just, when does Palantir stop growing in the next 10 years? When does TDOC stop growing in the next 10 years? When does Lemonade stop growing in the next 10 years? I don't know. I don't think any of those stocks ever have revenue declines in the next 10 years. I think they all have incredible futures for so many years to go in the future. However, these are all three stocks that are money losers and are going to continue to probably be money losers here at least for the next couple of years. And folks are looking at that and they don't want to play these sorts of stocks right now. And so they're selling and they're selling and they're selling, and that's why Palantir's down another 6% here today. AMC, woo, man. Wow, that's rough, okay? That's all I'll say about that. I mean, we looked at some big losses today, but nothing takes the cake over this one. AMC down nearly 16% here today in one of the biggest retail investor stocks out there. And yeah, I mean, it smells of probably margin calls, to be completely honest, because let's be honest, a lot of folks that have been into a stock like this have been margining money because you're going to attract a more risky investor, right? If you're attracting somebody to an AMC stock, folks, AMC doesn't have the best fundamentals in the world, let's be quite honest, right? And so if you're going to get a lot of folks into a stock like that, it's going to be a riskier crowd. A riskier crowd is going to likely do more things around options and do more things around margin. And so you get a big sell-off like this, and you end up getting margin calls. Now, this isn't the only stock that's happening. It's happening on a whole lot of others, okay? I think this is just the biggest one of the bunch of this crowd of stocks that's just getting absolutely decimated, okay? Wynn Resorts. So, I mean, I could have pulled up all the travel stocks here today. All the travel stocks, for the most part, are down huge. Obviously, you have all the worries about could travel get shut down, limited. You see what's happening in South Africa right now, and the limiting there. And so folks just get worried. That's the bottom line. These could end up being completely misguided, and this whole Omicron thing is just, in 2 or 3 months from now, no one's even talking about it anymore, and the world just starts being normal again. But for right now, it's the subject of discussion. And guess what? We're going into winter time right now, right? It's the first day of December, so now we're going into winter time. The Rona numbers are likely going to climb no matter what in winter time, right? Especially in the United States of America. So they're going to be climbing with the new variant out there, and people are like, I don't know, man. The travel stocks. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Wynn hit a 60-something here in the next few weeks. Maybe it doesn't happen, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if the stock's $65 very shortly. Okay, now, in regards to Wynn Resorts, if this stock falls to like a 65 or something like that, I'm going to likely be buying January 2024 call options. Rona is going to be such a thing of the past, in my opinion. By January 2024, it's not even going to be funny, okay? And so if I'm able to get these shares at something in the 60s, there's a massive pent-up for travel. I live in Las Vegas, okay? I was down at the Strip this weekend with somebody that was in town, okay? And I can tell you, the Strip was as busy, if not busier, than I've ever seen it at any point in the 6 years I've lived in Vegas, okay? I cannot explain to you how insanely busy it was down there this weekend, okay? And so, needless to say, there's a crazy pent-up demand for travel. I think this is probably a multi-year pent-up demand for travel. And so for something like Wynn Resorts, if they do shut down, it's just going to create a bigger pent-up demand for travel in the end. And so, we'll see where the stock price obviously goes. But I can tell you, based upon what I see in the real world, it's ridiculous how many people want to travel right now, okay? I live in literally one of the biggest tourist destinations you could possibly live in the world. So I have kind of an unfair advantage in kind of seeing like what travel's looking like. And those planes aren't stopping coming, okay? I walked outside my house last night, and I can see, the lights from the planes just coming in one after another, after another, after another. During, last year, those planes were very few and far between. But right now, they just line up in the sky here in Vegas, man. You can just see them one after another, after another, after another coming in. So, yeah, right now, in the short term, it's going to be shaky, a lot of worries. But, in 22 and beyond, sky's the limit. Look at the valuation on this one, down to $8.7 billion. If this stock pushes 65 or something like that, we're talking about this is going to end up being a $7 billion market cap. For the entire Wynn Resorts, with the online business, with WynnBET, with the Vegas properties and the Macau properties and the Boston property, okay, all right. Well, yeah, we can talk about that. Obviously, here today, I did a lot of buying out there. Chef, Corsair, a lot of that stuff. It does hurt me. I had to sell some WBA. Made a nice profit on that one. I still have a ton of shares of WBA, but I need money to put into some of these other stocks. So it hurts me, but sometimes in the stock market, you got to make tough decisions, okay? Make sure you follow me on Instagram, by the way, if you have not followed me on Instagram, okay? So let me talk for a moment on exactly what's going to happen here. Alrighty, folks. So essentially, this is reminding me a lot of December of 2018. It's almost identical. The reasons are always different. The worries are always different, right? But in terms of the pricing action, it's reminding me a lot of that time. I think it's a bigger. I think it's worse. I think it's worse in terms of the stock drops we're seeing. I think it's worse. And during that time, it was a little more around big tech as well, okay, was falling. But this is far worse for small caps. Like, I don't remember in December 2018 small caps getting hit even remotely close to this much, all right? Now, in December of 2018, and this could very much play out this year as well, is you didn't really see a bottom for a lot of these stocks until Christmas Eve. A lot of these hit a bottom, and then the first week of January. When I look back at that time, most of the stocks I was buying bottomed out right around Christmas, just like literally the day before Christmas, or right around, essentially, it was the first week of January, okay? I think we could definitely be looking at a similar situation here. It is possible we bottom earlier. That is always a possibility. As far as bottoming later, I don't really see it, okay? I think everybody that's going to want to sold is going to have sold in December, bottom line. I think anybody that's going to want to have tax loss harvested is going to already have done it in December, right? Because it doesn't make sense to do it in January. You have to do it in December. So I think that's going to likely end up happening. And I think margins getting winded down in a big, big way, okay? And so once you get all the sellers out, and last group of folks, I think we're getting the last bit of weak hands out of the market right now, and you have just a lot of money just moving to the sideline, right? Look at, Kevin, we did Millennial Money last night. Kevin says he's got, I don't know, it was $9 million on the sideline or whatever right now, right? He's one of just a lot of people that have moved a lot of money to the sideline, okay? So you get all the sellers out of the market, you get all these folks to move all this money over to the sideline, okay? And you get all this devastation of stocks. And what do you think starts to happen in January, okay? The money starts flowing back in. When you don't have that immense crazy selling pressure like we've been going through in the back half of November into this month, right, into December, when you don't have that crazy selling pressure and then you start getting buying pressure and you start getting money to move in, where do you think a lot of these small caps are going to fly to? And the thing with the small caps is they can move so much so fast. Just like we've seen it on the downside, they can move on the upside just as dang fast. And you're going to see a lot more of these folks look at this market and say, S&P 600 small caps trading the cheapest we've seen them trade in a decade. That's probably the opportunity. And you'll start to see money rotate. You'll start to see two things. Money rotate from large caps, big tech, over to the smalls, okay, and that will start to play out in 22. And then you'll simultaneously see all this money that's moved to the sideline. Remember, all these outflows. If you're talking about Kathy Wood, all this money outflowing from her. Talking about somebody like Kevin moving $9 million plus to his sideline, right? Graham was talking about he was moving some money to the sideline. You got all these people moving all this money to the sideline, right? All at the same time. And you got all these outflows, right? It's all going to cash. And then people start looking around and they're like, oh, cash is trash. That's right. We got inflation, which means my dollar is getting less. The devastation of stocks have already happened. And then the money starts coming in. And what you have happen is as the stocks start going up and up and up, you'll end up being in a situation where more money will come in because a lot of these folks that are on the sideline, especially if they're more traders, they look at it and they like to see a bottom, a clear bottom. They like to see stocks move up 10, 12, 14%. Then as they see that happen, they say, okay, now it's safe to get back in. Let me go ahead and get back in, and things start moving in the right direction, okay? Now, in terms of big tech, I don't know how great a year those stocks will have, to be quite honest. In 2022, I'm not going to predict that those stocks will have a bad year, but I'm not sure they have nearly as good of a year as this year. But in terms of small caps, it's just a ticking time bomb waiting for money to flush into those stocks. I think we can definitely see lower prices over the next few weeks. How I'm investing is I'm strategically investing. As things go lower, I buy more and more and more, right? I'm not going all in one day because I am fully aware that these stock prices I'm buying today could be lower in 3 weeks from now. Maybe the chef's at $13.50, 3 weeks from now if more tax loss harvesting and margin calls come. Maybe Corsair Gaming is at $18 3 weeks from now, right? Maybe Honest is at $7 3 weeks from now. Maybe Smile Direct Club's at $1.91 3 weeks from now, or whatever stocks I'm looking at, right? Maybe Teladoc's at $70 3 weeks from now. Maybe Palantir's at $17, $16 3 weeks from now. And so this is something to keep in mind that, we could be at a bottom, but we're probably not. This is probably going to go lower over the next few weeks. Doesn't mean every day. You're going to have some rallies here and there that will probably pump fake a little bit, and you'll think, oh man, we're going up again, and then it drops down. That's the same thing that happened in December 2018. You would have a vicious down day, then you'd have a bounce back day, maybe another bounce back day, and you'd be like, oh, it's getting good again, and then just doom, and then it drops huge again. So I think we're closer to a bottom in a lot of the small caps than we are to a top. However, we can't not acknowledge the fact that this is the beginning of December and we could still get a lot more tax loss harvesting as this month goes on, which could make a lot more margin calls happen, which could make a lot more folks jump out of the market, which could put a lot more money on the sideline, which could put a lot more money to outflow, all at the same time with the Roni worries and the Fed, and those are just kind of extra cherries on top. So there's no doubt we could go lower over the next few weeks. It's just you put all this here and all of a sudden you get all the sellers out, and then you get money pumping in all at the same time. Oh, it'll be interesting, guys. So anyways, obviously you know where I'm putting my money and what I'm doing out there. Let me know what you guys are doing for moves out there. I'd love to hear from you guys as always. Hope you appreciated this video. Much love as always, and have a great day.